Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today we have author Richelle Resto on my channel today. Richelle, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fine. Thank you for asking. All right. Tell us a little about you.
A little about myself is I am a lifelong learner. I've been in education over 20 years almost. And so I am really loving to give back to the community. I am just very humble, comes from humble beginnings, and really love sharing realistic strategies to help people be successful in life. I am a mother. And I'm a lover of books. So I really love to read books and write books. I have journals from the 8th grade that in my library. So I've been journaling for a very long time. And so some of the snippets that you will see in my books come from me journaling from years.
All right. What made you want to become an author?
You know, I really, in education, I was at a campus in DC, and I was coming into contact with a lot of students that really were struggling, not with the academic components, but had so many social economic factors that impacted them. And when they came in my office, I always would say, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. But I really spent a lot of time sharing with them realistic things of how you can survive, what can you do, lifelong skills, we believe in you, how to be confident in yourself. And my first book that you have in the back there, Your Tears Have Purpose, just kind of spilled from that, you know, bringing in calendars, buying calendars for students to say, every day I want you to say something positive about yourself. You know, your tears have purpose. Pick a day out of the week that you're going to go and do something for yourself. Look in the calendar every day, look in the mirror every day and say something positive that, you know, we believe in you. And a lot of those concepts and skills came from me wanting to share something with my students of how they can be successful in life. Every day they wake up and, you know, you have to get up. You have to dress up, you know, you have to, even though you don't feel like making yourself up, whatever that looks like, pull your pants up. You know, what does professionalism look like in your world? And I just kind of wrote that first book for them. It's not a thick book, but it really took them on a journey, sharing with them my story, also sharing with them, you know, I've been there, you know, I understand what it's like trying to figure out where your next meal is going to come from. So really being personable with them, and taking a journey with them and letting them know that you can still make it, take these lifelong skills, modify them, but you can go out every day, you know, and be successful and thrive, not only just survive, but you need to thrive at life.
Yes, yes. What inspired you to write your books?
I think the first book I was inspired because of my students when I was in DC. And then the second one, I really wanted to talk about destiny and talk about purpose and talk about being a leader. A lot of people don't understand what, you know, you hear this concept of, you know, I was born to lead, but a lot of people was like, well, what does that look like? I don't understand. I was born into this world right here and we don't have any leaders. And the leaders that I want to be like, they are, you know, celebrities. So what does leadership principles look like? Talking about purpose, talking about how do I, you know, how do I achieve? What does achievement look like? And mapping that out every day for 30 days. And then that was kind of long. So then I went back and I started teaching principles on the pathway to loving me. And so I really had to show them how to love themselves, how to break generational curses, you know, things that, how does it stop right here? This thing might have happened to my grandmother, my ancestors, but you are going to set milestones for yourself, and you're going to achieve your destiny. And what does that look like in your world? And so those are kind of what the key concepts was for that book. And then I wrote Behind Closed Doors Cliches. And it's just simple, inspirational. It's about 55 inspirational quotes that just simple things of, I don't look like what I've been through today. Hey, sis, you are beautiful today. You can get through today. So those type of things, don't allow your weaknesses to paralyze your promotion, your destiny. And sometimes you have to be separated to be elevated. So it was some of those kind of cliches that I had written when I was in the 8th grade, all the way up into my bleep bleep years. I'm not going to tell you my age. But those type of cliches really are just something short and simple. What I learned, and to be a good author, you have to learn how to be all things to all men. Yes. And so you have some readers who like it, they want you to get right to the point, which is a lot of my, because everyone's busy. And so I took it from that phase when I was writing and said, I just want something like a cliche I can turn over, like a scripture or something that I can carry with me. It could be 4 words. It could be just a quote that I can remember in my mind. And so that's when I wrote the cliches. And then I went a little bit further, talking about behind closed doors, married to the church, and my wife is a mistress. And so that was a collection of stories that I've heard from various first ladies over the years. And so I kind of took that and put it into a book about a story. It's a good storyline, a nonfiction Christian book. And it's just going to walk you through the things that go on behind closed doors, and what's really going on in the minds of various people who are married to pastors, but suffering in silence.
Well, I was going to tell you, go ahead. And the next question was to talk about your books. So,
okay. So the book, the first book talked about tears. The second book was, and I have that one here, Destiny. It really was, you probably could tell that I am a self-help writer. And so I'm so used to an education giving tools that will help students be successful. And so I really, in the Destiny book, I talked about suffering in silence sometimes can produce your greatest strengths, and how I finally found me and my destiny. And it has charts in it, talking about your destiny cultivates determination, dominion, discipline, and it gives you a lot of power. And so in that book, I really talked about lean not to your own understanding. It has ways that you can improve your life, increase your faith. You have to pray. You have to push beyond the obstacles. And the more that you push, you'll walk into your purpose. Your destiny will shape your character, whether it's a Coca-Cola bottle, whether it's whatever size you want to be, your destiny can be shaped. And you can continue to walk in purpose. Also, a lot about forgiveness and compassion and building trust. And so those key principles talk about, what do I do when my destiny is under fire? What are some principles that I can implement? How do I be transparent? Who do I really bleed in front of when I'm vulnerable? And you will learn that a lot of people can't handle your vulnerability. And how do you flip that? How do you be destiny driven versus people pleasing? Because we have a lot of people who they don't know what their destiny is, because they're so caught up into people pleasing. And so that's kind of what, and how do you break how do you know that you're a people pleaser? How do you know that you compromise a lot of your principles, you know, and I talk about, you know, identifying your goals and putting due dates and, you know, your career, your health, your family, your friends, and answering the WH questions. When did I lose me and my destiny? How can I find me and my destiny again? And what does that kind of look like? And so that's kind of, that book talks a lot about declaration. And one thing that I always tell people that are really talking about their destiny, and I'm going to talk about a little bit, just give everyone a snippet of the Behind Closed Doors, Married to the Church, My Wife is a Mistress. But one thing that I often tell people, you have to forgive yourself.
Yes.
Never walk in guilt. I always say you have to repent, because some things you do voluntarily and some things you do involuntarily, but you constantly have to renew your mind. You have to find something that will empower you and write, pray, accomplish your goals, and don't let anything get in the way. So that's kind of the key concepts in this book. I'm telling you, it will help people live their life abundantly. It will help you accomplish your goal. It will help you really find out who you are, and are you really living a purposeful life? Even in times like this, you still should feel, you have compassion, but you still should feel purposeful. And so, and this goes even beyond who we are at this time. And so that's kind of what that book is about. And then the latest book, which really, MsQueenie took me out of my comfort zone. So I really had 4 readers. Because you're really walking on uncharted territory. And so in the Behind Closed Doors, Married to the Church, My Wife is a Mistress, that book, it was something to write. It was really, how transparent do you want to be when you're sharing about the things that go on behind closed doors, the thoughts that really go through a lot of women's minds while their husband is preaching behind a sacred desk. Really, the pain and the anguish of just being a first lady, and you're sitting there on the first row and you're really having regrets about, you know, I really just want to be, I don't want to be a first lady. I really want to be just a person. And in the book, you'll see letters from congregants writing the first lady of how they admire who she is, and she's broken. She is suffering in silence. The man that she married had skeletons in his closet, and she had skeletons in her closet, and 2 broken people came together, and they thought that those secret sins was not going to surface, but the door became open, and it really took them back to a place that they thought that they was delivered from. So it's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to hearing the reader's view on it, because it's, you know, I'm already writing the part 2 to that, which is Married to the Church, Married to the Preacher, and I wanted to say the pastor, the preacher, and the priest, because you're married to different people. And you have to know all these 3 people make up one person.
Yes.
So I that book really is going to be very exciting. It's really going to have a sequel, and I'm looking forward to hearing what I think people who have read it said, I wanted more. And I had to do a lot of revisions to that book, because you want to be transparent. And they say, you can't talk like that. And I was like, but this is really happening in the lives of Christian people. They don't say it, but they think it.
Bingo. Yes. Okay, you would like to read a snippet, you said?
I have a snippet of this one.
Oh.
You have to invite me back, MsQueenie, for that one. Okay, so let me read you a snippet of people-driven versus destiny-driven.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been told that you cannot communicate your thoughts? Many times we need to analyze and communicate our thoughts, emotions, and be more courageous about how to relay them. Now, I want you to think about the difference between being people-driven and destiny-driven. What is the characteristic styles? What is the communication styles? And what are the behaviors? Take this journey with me. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep me company. You didn't have the privilege or opportunity to share your hopes, your dreams, your desires, your fears, your misgiving. Now it's time for you to be transparent. Are you a people pleaser or are you destiny driven? Who are you and who do you want to become? Prepare your mind for action, and it's time to overcome and learn how to be destiny driven and stop being people pleasing. We are charming human beings. We have the art of pretending to dwell in the status of being comfortable in two functions. Have you ever spent countless hours worrying over people's opinions and views against you? Have you, Queenie?
Yes. I was about to highlight yes while ago, and I was like, I had to retain myself.
Did you find yourself experiencing emotional breakdown and questioning your own happiness, experiences, and life crisis? Have you ever spent months where your scars were intensifying and your inner wounds were so deep and embarrassing for anyone to see with your natural eyes? Have you found yourself in an emotional imbalance, battling with people pleasing while trying to understand your purpose? Let's take an in-depth look and pay attention to the traits and characteristics of people-driven people. You want me to keep going?
Sure.
Okay. All right. People-driven people, or PDP, no matter the title or the position, their desire is to please people and seek attention, even if it causes some form of pain, sadness, rejection, or low self-esteem. Many times they are in so much pain that they have distorted perspectives, old mistakes of old facts and old views, and they remain unable to evaluate the significance of moving forward and embracing new methods. PDP, or people-driven people, have inner wounds that have never been dealt with from their lineage. They develop negative patterns of behaviors that make them ineffective, which makes them still in need of being rescued from self-destructions. Oftentimes you hear stories of broken marriages, relationships, dysfunctional families, battle with debt, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, jealousy, cyberbullying. These sometimes are evidence of people or characteristics of people who have been accustomed to being people-driven and have been misdiagnosed and mishandled their purpose. They have an unawareness and misunderstanding about their destiny. Have you become so comfortable with filling your mind with people-driven conversation that it distorts your lifestyle? Yes or no? Mm-hmm. What personal experiences have you allowed to beguile your private and personal life? And then the reader will write that down.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. What did you learn when writing this book?
This book, I learned a lot about who I wanted to be. I learned a lot about just being a leader and loving the skin that I'm in, if you really want to say that, and about leadership styles, about um, um, really being a destiny driven, and what does my destiny look like, and how does that align with, you know, the will of God? How does that align in my life? How to really take care of myself, how to not allow people's opinion, views, or comments paralyze my inner beauty and my confidence. So I learned a lot about myself writing this book. I really spent a lot of time setting aside praying and praising and crying and setting boundaries. That was so important, was the boundaries piece, and not letting things hinder me or hinder my forward progress, because criticism can be good, but also it can be bad, and it can allow you to have emotional exhaustion if you just not care. You have to compartmentalize things, and that comes from setting boundaries.
What does the title mean?
The title really was very personable for me, because all eyes are on me to achieve my destiny. It wasn't about all the different positions and titles that I have. It wasn't about my family. It was about me, and it was about where during challenging times, the rain, the storm, the pain, I still act as a catalyst, and I have to push through my purpose. And I didn't want to suffer from having an identity crisis. And I really have to zoom in and know that all eyes are on you to achieve your destiny. And what does that look like? So that's what that title means. It means really, I had to really have determination. I had to evolve. This book really took me through an evolvement phase. I had to stabilize, and again, I talk about those boundaries, but stabilization, I had to get stable and say, you know what? No is so powerful. Sometimes we can build other people's vision, and ours become so distorted. And then learning temperance, learning what was my true identity. And once you learn your identity, it never has an expiration date. You're always evolving and walking in newness, walking in a new chapter in life, and just talked about yielding to faith. And that really makes up destiny. So that's what that really means.
What is your purpose in writing the book?
My purpose in writing this book was a self-help tool, because I do a lot of seminars and conferences. The first one I did, every book that I do, I always put together a little kit. It's something that I know that the Lord gave to me. And so the first one I did, Your Tears Have Purpose, and I put together a little kit. The second one, which is this one, I did a destiny tour. And so I always do some form of a tour. And so I really wanted to put together a destiny tour or destiny kit. And in the kit, when I do tours, it's dealing with a lot of women and emotional wounds and waking up their purpose, reestablishing daily routines, and looking at professional and personal burnout. And so the kits had calendars, journals. It had little, your destiny is meant to be, just little things that they could keep at their desk, keep at their car, just little postcards, whatever they could do to inspire them to be successful.
Can I get one of these kits, and is they available now?
Well, this, you know what, I'm going to really hook you up. I'm working on my third kit, and the third kit, the first two kits was so easy because I could really pull out concepts. And so in that kit, I gave rocks, and the rocks was like, be strong, be, pens, and it had candles because I wanted them to light up their destiny. So I put little candles in them. So I'm going to get you this third book and the kit, and I'm working on that one. And this kit that I'm working on now, it's really, really taken me a little different way, but it's really going to be behind closed doors adventure kit. And in that kit, you'll find some different tools in there that you could go through on the journey or things that you're dealing with behind closed doors. So it may be a journal in there. I'm still putting that kit together because that kit is going to be a little different, but I will definitely get you a kit. I owe you that.
Okay, thank you. How will readers benefit from this book?
Which one?
The one you're talking about, the Destiny.
They will benefit in so many ways because, if I could just share, I don't know if they could see it, but it always has an area and charts in it. And it talks a little bit about use this area to write about anything you want to write about. I even wrote in this book, it has ask yourself questions. And so it's really a self-help book to really get them to focus on what their destiny is. I also put in here a section where you can write out like a logo of what your destiny is. Sometimes a lot of people don't know, they may not know how to use words, but picture images. And so here is a little section in the book where you can write out or draw out what your destiny is. And you can it's a little section. So you can draw a picture of what you think it should be. It could be a heart, that could be love. It could be numbers to make money. Whatever it is, whatever image comes to your mind, I want you to put it right there in this book. And then moving forward, hopefully that will help you as you're getting to the book, knowing that God has healed me and now I'm ready to move forward. Also, these are the things that's making me strong. And then what I love about it is you do a commitment. In the back of the book, it is, I will use the images and the words in this book to purge out negative speech, attitudes, tones that are inconsistent with my destiny. And that's the commitment. And I should have put the date on there. And then they can always go back and have them accountability partner to hold them accountable that this is the day that I walk in newness. And this is the day that I'm walking in my purpose.
And this is the book, y'all, she's talking about.
Yep.
Make sure they
2 for 2.
And where can readers find you?
They can find me on my website, which is www.drresto.org. I'm on Facebook under Dr. Richelle Resto. I am also on Instagram, and I'm under author Richelle. I do have a book club for all eyes. It's Finding Me in My Destiny on Facebook. So it's a group called Finding Me in My Destiny. So they can find me there, and I'll answer questions, hold them accountable about the book as well.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so honored just to be on, just to share a little bit about myself and about, the wonderful things that's going on in my destiny. Is still unfolding, and I'm just so honored just to be a part of the journey. And I'm looking forward to the readers getting all my new book that will, I'm so excited about it. And I'm writing, there's part 2 to it. I'm writing a teen book called Save Me From Me. And so I'm just writing away while I'm in quarantine and walking in my purpose. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Again, this is Richelle Resto, Resteo. You can find her on Amazon or Facebook. Please hook her up, call her, email her, inbox her if you want the books. The 2 books are behind me. I have 2. Thank you for coming in again, Richelle. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to coming back when you get your kit.
All right. You heard it from Richelle. Again, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.